can I ask you, as I understand that you were one of those Conservatives that put a letter in to Sir Graham Brady, how do you now feel about the Prime Minister's position now that we have a redacted form of the Grey Report produced?
I put my letter in a year ago after what became known as the Barnard Castle affair, because I was dissatisfied with the Prime Minister's judgment. And my letter, therefore, has very little to do with what is now known as Partygate. The Prime Minister has spent some weeks now saying, wait for Sue Gray. Then he said yesterday over and over again at the dispatch box, wait for the Metropolitan Police. You know, pretty soon we'll be waiting for Godot. There is a limit to how far he can kick the can down the road. I think he's running out of road.
Are you going to put in another letter then?
I don't need to put in another letter. That's I checked that with the chairman of the 1922 committee. That is refreshed. My letter stands. I believe that the time has come when we have to have another Conservative Prime Minister than Mr. Johnson. It's not the ideal time. We're in the middle of an international crisis with Russia and Ukraine, and quite clearly there's a job of work to do internationally that has to be done. We're also facing a domestic price rise crisis in terms of fuel costs and general price increases and tax increases. So there's quite a lot of domestic issues that need to be addressed as well, and they ought to take priority. However, we don't pick our timing on these matters. The fact of the matter is that the Prime Minister has, in my view, been found wanting, and therefore we have to have, in fairly short order, a leadership contest.
Sir Gale, Rosanna joining the conversation from Downing Street. I've been interviewing a number of your Conservative colleagues all week and so far haven't managed to get one of them to put a name as to who they think would make a better leader, a more Conservative leader, as you put it. So who would be, in your books, that person?
Rosanna, you're asking us to play what is known in the United Kingdom as the bus game. If the Prime Minister went under a bus, who would you vote for? And the answer to that is, of course, none of us knows yet, because one, there is no vacancy. And two, we don't know who the runners and riders are, because we don't know who is going to throw their hat into the ring. And once we know who is standing, then we can start to express preferences. Now, what I can tell you is that I shan't be endorsing any candidate, because to do so would probably be the kiss of death for that candidate.
Sir Roger, let me just ask you how this plays out now. Of course, we're waiting for the Met Police investigation. The Prime Minister was at pains to point that out to both sides of the House many times yesterday as well, and of course to the 1922 committee later on. When will Conservative MPs, in enough numbers, i.e. to get to the 54, the 15% needed to trigger a contest, when will they actually send in those letters, in your opinion? You've been around a very long time looking at this. Do we have to wait till after the 6th of May?
Possibly. I really can't answer that question because I don't know. I'm not canvassing either opinion or letters. I've done what I believe to be necessary and right. Others have to exercise their own judgment. There may be more letters that will go into Sir Graham Brady today. It's possible that that figure will be reached by the end of this week. It's also possible that we could trigger a leadership election, and that on a vote of confidence, Mr. Johnson, with the majority he's got, could win. And if he does, then he's in the clear for another year. So, you know, that is all a question of judgment for my colleagues. They have to decide whether or not they believe, as I believe, that, as I said, Mr. Johnson has run out of road and we have to elect a new, good, strong Conservative leader.